Like Troy said, my name is Jaden Wiest. I graduated from Union High School in 2020. Super great year. And I'm 18, and I'm currently working at Pathways. It's a rehab facility for people struggling with substance abuse. And I work there due to previous events in my life. I've lost some people to addiction. So I've been really passionate for working there and helping them. And I've actually never told my life story in front of a lot of people. I mean, my friends and stuff all know my life story and the gist of it and stuff. But at Pathways, all of my clients are required to do a life story. And so when Troy messaged me, it was on June 7th, I think, and I was sitting at home on my couch, and I saw he messaged me. I'm like, I wonder what Troy could be messaging me about. So I opened it, and I read the first couple of sentences, and then the last one was, would you be interested in being our guest speaker? And I was like, there's no way this is happening right now. So I've always been like, public speaking has been like a big goal for me, but I've never been like able to actually get myself to do it. I've always been way too scared. I'm like, there's no way I can speak in front of a bunch of people. There's no way. And then he messaged me, and I'm like, I have to. Like, there's no choice. There's no choice. So I told him yes, and now here I am. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into my story and tell you how suicide has affected me, because I know it's affected pretty much everyone here today. So like I said, I went to Union High School, graduated in 2020. I'm currently at Hawkeye, going for social work. I'm planning to be a substance abuse therapist. Again, like I said, I work at Pathways, so it kind of correlates there. I got a good foot in the door, which I'm really excited for. And then after that, I'll be going to UNI, finish all my schooling. I have a lot to do. So, I grew up in a very small town called Brandon, Iowa. I don't know if anyone has been there. It's super small. It's not even a mile by a mile. So I knew pretty much everyone there. You know, I was always with my friends, always running around, riding bikes, going crazy, swimming. And so two of my really good friends, their names are Brock and Brody Albert, they lived about 2 minutes from my house. On September 20th of 2009, it would have been 2 weeks after my 7th birthday. I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but I was playing at their house just like a normal day, and my stepdad came and picked me up early, and we pulled into my driveway, and there was like 7 cars, and I was like, what in the heck? Like, why is there so many people here? And we walked in, and I hadn't asked any questions. You know, I was only 7, so I was just like, whoa, there's a bunch of people here. Maybe like surprise party, something. And I walked in, and everyone was crying, and I was like, the first thing that came to my head was our dog died, because my mom and her dog were like this. So I was like, he had to have died. And then I walked up to my mom, and you know, she was just bawling, and she didn't really say it at first. She just kind of looked at me. And then she finally said, your dad lost his life to suicide. And, you know, I was really young, so it was kind of hard for me to understand. But obviously I was aware. And like that day, I remember everything about it. The details, minor details. And so she told me that, and you know, I was crying. Everyone else was crying. I didn't fully understand it, but I did understand, like, my dad is no longer here. And so my dad had actually lived in Minnesota with my little brother. It's my half brother. He lived in Minnesota with his fiance. And so the next day we went to Minnesota. We got there, and you know, we saw everyone, and it was really hard to see everyone and see the way that it impacted like so many different people. Like, so from a daughter's point of view, my sister's point of view, she was 14 when it happened, and I can't imagine, you know, being old enough to understand and have such a good like memory of him. So I know she struggled really hard with that. And that has impacted me knowing how much she struggled. And on a side note, my sister is one of the strongest people I know. She's sitting up in the bleachers. She's lost a lot of important people in her life, so losing her dad too was just like unbelievable, especially at that age. But when this all happened, you know, I had to grow up. There was nothing I could do about it. You know, like, people said they're sorry, they're thinking of you, and like, you really appreciate that when people tell you that. But deep down, like, it doesn't change what happened. But again, people's words, like, it means so much to you. So as I grew up, I was at independent school district when this happened. And I grew up, I switched to Union in 3rd grade. So I went to Union up until graduation. So as I grew up, you know, I started like 5th grade, we'd go to his grave, and like I would understand a little bit more, like, oh yeah, like he really is gone. And you know, I would hear my friends talk about their dad, and oh, me and my dad are going to do this, me and my dad are going to do that. And I was like, man, I really wish I was able to be able to say that. And I have a stepdad that he's great. He's been around me since I was a baby. But just growing up, hearing like people talk about their fathers and not being able to, it's like, I really wish I could have experienced having my father. I have slight memories of him, but not anything like super in detail because he did live far away. So I got to see him a few times a year. So like I said, I grew up in about middle school, would have been like 7th grade. I started like really understanding about my dad being gone. And I started to get this urge, like, I want to help people that are struggling with loving themselves and feeling like they have someone. So I kept, you know, 8th grade came, and like, I would talk about it a little bit more. People would ask me questions, I would always answer them. And then I got into high school, and like, I started noticing, you know, people make jokes about suicide. Like, someone has a bad day or they're embarrassed about something, they'll say like, I'm gonna go do that. And it's like, they don't realize how much that could affect someone. But if you say that around the wrong person, someone that has lost someone to suicide, I mean, it could really trigger someone and like kill their whole day. And you know, it's not like they intentionally were trying to ruin someone's day, but it definitely does ruin someone's day. So I started to not necessarily call people out, but like bring it to attention, like, hey, don't joke about that. It's not a joke. Not very many people should see that as a joke, because it really isn't. It affects a lot of people. So then around, it would have been my junior year, I talked to one of my teachers about doing like a in-class presentation about suicide and stuff, and then I chickened out. I was like, I can't even stand in front of my class. But again, I still knew that I wanted to help people. It was just a matter of when I was going to be able to do it. So then I have some dates wrote down right here. So it would have been my senior year, right at the beginning of the school year. Our good neighbors, great friends of ours, on August 21st, 2019, so my senior year, they lost a family member, Corey Holman. It was his brother, lost his life to suicide, and it was really hard seeing like an older, you know, he's Corey and Kara are both like other parents to me, so seeing them hurting and seeing them upset, like, it just really, I was like, I just want to fix it. I just want to make the pain go away for them. And I couldn't. And so I always see them out and about, and so I saw Corey a few different times, and it got brought up in conversation, and we kind of related to it, again, from two different point of views, a daughter's point of view, and then for him, a brother's point of view. And I was glad that I was able to talk to him, and it was probably a little weird just because, I'm a kid and he is an adult, and again, he's like a parent in a way. But he did talk to me about it, and I left after we talked about it. We had a good heart-to-heart, and I left, like, in a way, kind of like bricks lifted off of my shoulder. I was like, I really hope talking to him somewhat helped, even if it was just by 1%. At least it helped a little bit. And I always say, like, time is the biggest healing factor. You can look at something that was a problem 3 years ago and you're like stressing about it so much, and then you look back now and you're like, why was I stressing about this? Suicide is obviously completely different. You're always going to have that pain, but the day that you lose that person, probably the worst day of your life, you're going to have so much pain. But as time goes on, you remember the memories and the stories, and you try to see it as more positive rather than negative, which again is really hard, but you try to. So then, not even 2 months later, on October 3rd, 2019, I was at my grandpa's house, and I was sitting on the couch, and I received a call from my best friend. Her name is Grace Keegan. She's also here. And Corey and Kara are here too, by the way. Forgot to say that. But I got a call from my best friend, and she wasn't crying, but she was very worked up. And I was like, what's going on? Are you all right? And she said, did you see so-and-so's Snapchat story? And I was like, no, I hadn't been on my phone. So I got on my phone and I went to the person's Snapchat story that she had told me to look at, and I clicked on it. It said, R.I.P. Mike Betterton. And I was like, there is no way there's no way. No way. And I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Mike Betterton. He was a junior at Vinton-Schellsburg, and I didn't know him super personally. I met him like 2 times, but his parents weren't able to make it tonight. They will be at the 5K tomorrow, but he was literally the most happy, like, smiley guy you would ever meet. And anyone that knew him would say the same thing. And like I said, I didn't know him too personally, but just from hearing stories from everyone, he was just this amazing kid. And that just goes to show that people can hide it so well. You have absolutely no idea what is going on in someone's life. And that really opened my eyes about it. And so I went to school the next day after that, and Grace, we're best friends. So every class that we had together, we always picked seats next to each other. And I walked into class, and it was just, like, it was awful. I sat down, and she couldn't talk. You could tell she had been crying. I'm like, Grace, what are you doing at school right now? Like, you deserve a day for you. And I was just sitting there, and I could not pay attention in class. And I finally just got up and left. I was like, I can't sit here seeing my best friend suffering so bad and not being able to do anything about it. And I know that sounds crazy, like, there's no, like, why was I so upset when it wasn't someone that I knew personally? But it was the fact that I saw my best friend hurting so bad, and there was literally nothing I could do. I made her like it was a big yellow basket, and it had a bunch of little gifts in it, a sunshine basket. I'm like, this might brighten her mood a little bit, but at the end of the day, I can't change what happened, and what happened is what's making her upset. I'm like, I just really want to try and make a difference. So it would have been September 20th, September is Suicide Awareness Month, and my dad lost his life in September on the 20th. So on September 20th of 2019, so it was like 2.5 weeks after I found out about Mike, I decided I was gonna make a video and I was gonna post it on Facebook, and I was so scared. I was like, I really want to do this, but I don't know if I can. There's judgmental people out there, you know, and what if I post this and there's a bunch of people judging it and all this stuff? And I'm like, it's either I do something that could potentially make a difference, whether it does or not, there was potential for it. So I made this video. It was like a 4-minute, 30-second long video, and I just recorded myself talking about suicide and prevention and, you know, like how it's affected me. And the next morning, I uploaded it on Facebook, and I like held my finger over the post button. I'm like, just do it, Jaden, just post it. And I couldn't get myself to do it. And finally, I was getting ready to walk out for school, and I'm like, I'm gonna post it, and then I won't get on my phone while I'm at school. So if there is any negative things on there, I'll see it after school. Won't let it ruin my day. Then I got to school, and a bunch of people came up to me and were like, your video on Facebook, like, it has a lot of views right now. I'm like, what? So I got on, and I saw that Troy had shared it on the Alive and Running page, and I was like, that is so cool. Like, I really hope that a lot of people see this, and I hope it makes a difference. I hope this could save someone's life, because in it I talk about like, if you need someone, you can always reach out to me. So I was like, hopefully a lot of people see it and it can make a difference. And because of that video is the reason that Troy reached out to me the other day. So 2 years later, who would have thought that, well, 2 years ago when I posted the video, who would have thought that it would lead me to this and being able to speak in front of this many people and share my story and hopefully get more awareness out there. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful that I did post it. Again, it took a lot of nerve for me to do, but I did, and I'm so thankful that I did, because like I said, I'm here today speaking with you guys. So one of the best decisions I ever made was posting that video and making it. And so my message from today is that if there's anyone out here right now struggling with loving yourself or feeling like you're not worth enough, you 110% are. I mean, you all have probably lost someone to suicide or know someone that has lost someone to suicide, and you can see the way it affects people. It affects people so negatively, and at the end of the day, it's not making anything better. Like, you choosing to not be here might make you think like, oh, my pain will be gone, but it will cause so much more pain on everyone in your life. And again, I know sometimes it might feel like you don't have anyone that really loves you or cares about you, but I promise you do. I mean, a year ago when I got this tattoo on my arm, and it has meaning behind it with substance abuse and suicide, and I posted a long post about it on my Instagram, and I said in it, if you ever need to talk to someone, like, reach out to me. Even if you don't know me, go ahead, like, reach out to me. I want to be there to talk to. And all my friends know, any day that my friends are having a rough day, I'm nagging at them. I'm like, what's wrong? They say nothing. I'm like, I know there's something wrong, and I'm gonna keep pushing at you until you at least talk about it or explain what's wrong, because I'm just so paranoid about it. I mean, you never know. Like, for Mike, in an example, like, no one ever would have pictured that coming. So it's like, all of my friends and family seem really happy, and it's, how do I know that they aren't suffering deep down? So I am always pushing my friends to open up to me, and I hope it doesn't annoy them, but that's why I do it. But so yeah, that's my message to everyone is, if you need to reach out for help, do it. You can reach out to me anytime. I'm on social media and stuff. I would never share information that, when someone talks to me, I would never do that, because obviously I wouldn't want someone sharing personal information about me. So if you ever need to reach out or even talk to someone, even if you aren't having those thoughts about yourself and you're just having a rough day, and you think talking to me or talking to another one of your friends and relating to the people that you've lost, like, always reach out. Always do. Because you leaving this earth early will not benefit anyone. And I mean anyone. So I think that is all I had to say. I did want to say, if anyone had any questions or something afterwards, like, you can always approach me. I'm very open to meeting and talking to people, and so if anyone has any questions or anything like that, feel free to come up to me and ask. So that's all. Thank you guys for being here tonight too.